Can't lie. So I just wanted to do a signature comparison off, if you will, because I get asked here and there about which guitar do I like the most. Is the Van Halen guitar better than the Petrucci? You know, is the Petrucci better than the Van Halen? And it's really hard to answer. Well, I guess it's not really hard to answer that question. It's just, people have their own, because guitar is very suggestive style of playing. It's very suggestive in general. It's like one person will say Marshall's better than Mesa Boogie. Uh, Others will say Diesel. Like, I like Diesel personally. Or I used to really love Mesa Boogie, but now I play Marshall. I play things change. It's like taste buds and stuff like that. So I really dug the Petrucci when I first got it. So when you first see it, when you first get it, it's like, oh, it's really great. It actually had, from what I'm not used to, is especially with signatures, because most of the time signature guitars, they don't really care. They'll put whatever strings they want on it. Ooh, damn thing. So this one, they actually put 10 to 46. I stopped playing 10 to 46 about, I'd say, a year and a half, 2 years ago, just because I didn't like the 10 feeling on the higher up. So when I stopped playing that, I was like, okay, so 9.5. Plus, I could get the action a lot better than I could on other guitars. So, and the bridge as well. I discovered let's see if I can get a better angle on there. This camera doesn't give me really great angles when I want it to. Let's see, I probably got to get. There we go. There we go. So the bridge, I really dig this bridge because it has its Floyd Rose-like tendencies, except the con is you have to have not strap blocks. I was looking at my tune. I was looking at the. What is it? I was looking at the strap block pieces. You have to have stupid thing. What is it? The locking tuning pegs up here, and I'm not a big fan of those just because it puts a lot more weight. Well, not a lot, but it puts more weight up on the head. Some companies have them a little bit heavier than others. It's like pick and choose kind of thing. Like if you're a fan of one company over the other, one company could be heavier than the other. It's just like you're streamlining and stuff like that. So, and what's cool about what I liked about this when I first got it and got it out of the box, it looked purple. It was purple. Then, see if I can get it to do its chameleon effect. It's going to do that crap to me. So then, all right, it's going to play that game. So, yeah, it stays purple most of the time. That's what I was like, well, if it's just going to do that, they should just call it purple. I mean, when it's really sunny out, then I can still get it to, then I can get it to go green. But besides that, that's about as good as it just stays like that in the dark. When it's darkish, it'll stay purple. When it's a little bit more light, over here, you can kind of see it blending. It looks kind of gold. See over here? I don't know how well you guys can see it, but it's slowly going green. But anyway, digressing. Right now I have this in standard, or I think it's... Alright, drop D. And the neck is severely thin, like super thin. Like I believe they said they try to make the Music Man's like tracing paper. They put it up to like the light and see how well the tracing, how well they can see through it. Put this back around. And then when they get them just like that, that's when they start fine tuning them and whatnot. So, I mean, this is going to be a little bit of a long kind of live show or whatnot, but they get it to as much as they can, thin as they can, because I don't know how well it's going to come up through here. Let me see. I mean, I got this thing as flat as possible. Let me move the actual strap lock. There we go. So yeah, that's as straight as this thing's gonna get. No fret work needs to be done on it. I mean, I hope not for a guitar that goes for $1,000, but always sells for, what is it? I should say it's like $750 after all the BS taxes and all that crap. And it sounds great. I mean, the pickups, I know they did a really good job on trying to, excuse me, I gotta take a drink. You know, most people have morning coffee. I have my morning soda. Most people think these are garbage pickups. Whatever, you can think what you want, you know, unless you're gonna buy the thing and try it out yourself, or unless you have a deal with Sterling Ernie Ball where they could send it to you and they could send it back. You know, like, yeah, the pickups are more like your mid-range pickup. It sounds actually kind of close to, I would hope, to what, because they claim it to be close to, was it the Rainmaker and Dreamcatcher? I don't know. I don't want to spend the $400 on the pickups to try them out, but they're kind of weak in my mind, in my eyes, or to my ears. They don't have the they just don't have, like, they have the punch. Like, I'm sure you can hear that. But what I'm using for these are the Ernie Ball Primo Slinkies, the 9 to 42. And I noticed with that gauge, 9 to 42, works so much better for this guitar, this setup, you know, severely low action, where I know the metal guys usually go for the trems and stuff like that. I mean, I'm a metal guy and I usually go for the trems, but I didn't have $1,500 to, what is it, $2,000 to get a trem. And I'm a kind of player that I've been like this for the 25 years I've been playing guitar. I don't believe in blocking trems unless the trem is somehow broken in some which way. Because if you're buying a trem setup guitar, you're gonna play the trem just like a guitar. There's no need to block the trem on a guitar, because why did you buy the damn thing? You know. So I'm just one of those old school crotchety old guys that would be like, well, if you wanted to play a guitar that was blocked off, you should just got a string through. But I know most people just see it go, oh, the color. But I can't stand string through bodies where people don't like trem bodies. And I mean, I like the guitar. It's not bad. This was actually a big number one for me until I got. I mean, and this thing too, I will admit, this is really, really light. Oh, wait. I think we're getting some green in this. Yeah, there you go. There's some green. There we go. It's not the best, but because this little armrest right here, this is really comfortable. Not many guitars, companies or guitars in general, do well on the arm or the elbow rest. And the neck joint alone too. I know the lighting in this place sucks. And every time I'm like, all right, this month I'm going to buy some lights, I had to buy packs of strings or all that other crap. But the heel joint back here is actually really comfortable, and you can actually get a lot more fret access because of the heel down here. I'll get to the cons later on. I'm just trying to show everybody what other people don't show, because I'm not going to sit here and try to play Petrucci riffs that I can't play. I like doing the dive bombs and stuff like that, but I have it literally the bridge flush with the body is how it should be. Not, hey, I'm gonna have it 3/4 of an inch higher off the body, and that's how it should be. No, your guitar should. I'm gonna actually do a video on that of how your guitar string should be, as a 0 point to where they shouldn't be. And it's probably going to make a lot of people angry. I'll probably get a lot of people unsubbing. I don't care. It does not mean anything to me on that. But uh, the guitar, they made the majority of the weight. What's cool is right about, I'm trying to feel with my finger, right about here to your 23rd fret, you can feel it. So that would be right at the bottom half of your heel joint on your neck, which is perfect because when you're playing standing up, you know, physics wise, all the weight's right there, so you're not really feeling it. It's all coming right there, and that's perfect. I mean, you shouldn't be whipping the guitar around like, you know, like you're in gymnastics, but this is perfect for if you're playing long periods of time, standing up, you know, you're doing the leads, that kind of stuff. Uh, Setting recommendation I do have for this, I go 1, 2, 3, and that's how I count back the treble. And with the volume, depending on the song, like if it's heavy, I crank it, so 10, but then I go 1, 2. It usually puts me about to a 9. I say about maybe 8.5 to 9. Because then when you switch over to your clean channels, you don't want it, or even like, you know, pickup switching, you don't want it to go brr, brr, you don't want it too bassy. I mean, that little setup there I learned from other players and stuff like that, because if you're getting a real boomy sound from the middle setting into the next setting, you have too much volume and treble sound coming from your pickups, and that's all I do. I do the counting method. They try, because a lot of times your pickups, your knobs don't have numbers on it, so I just do the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Because the slower counting you want to do on the neck, or I'm sorry, on the volume, and the faster counting you want to do on the tone, because the tone's like I always was told this tone's like your distortion, your high end, and the volume's obviously the volume. But now, moving on, before I start getting into like the cons of each guitar, because these both actually have similar necks when it comes, not similar like the exact same, because the necks are completely different, but what they did with the necks is they hand oiled the necks, but this one is actually oiled with gun oil, the Petrucci, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, the one I am now calling the one that has actually earned the right to be called the number one, is the 2017 EVH and Solar Burst, which I think that's a pretty cool name instead of calling it Vintage Burst or Sunburst. You know, like that just looks cool, and like you can really see the figuring. I know it's hard to see on video and crappy lighting, but you can really see the figuring and the maple at the top. See, like everywhere, you could just see how it ages properly, because that's how Eddie like his guitars, is just like that. And then in the back, because the back really shows what the figuring of the basswood is, you could really see the figuring on that as well. And this is one gorgeous guitar. And you'd think this was actually binding. No. They tape off or mask, because I used to be a painter. They mask off the body paint, because this is the basswood. You can see where they cap it. This is the maple, so you can see where it's capped. Do their thing, pull it off, and then you get that really cool vintage style look. Yeah, you don't really get with other guitars. Usually they're fake painting, and it's like, hey, here's our guitar, give us more money. Like, you can feel where the money goes into this guitar, and this weighs a lot more than the Petrucci, so I have a severely bad spine, and I try not to play this standing up, for the fact that I shouldn't be playing this standing up. Like, all the weight you can feel is right here, so it has that Telecaster, Stratocaster mainly the Telecaster weight issue, because if you can see, I'm actually balancing it right here on the counter, because this is the only place I can really do the videos. But and anyone that has a Telecaster or been a Telecaster player knows what I'm talking about with that weight, because that's what he designed these after. Was basically he molded it after the Telecaster and Strat body, and that's how you get this crazy looking weird, which people thought was smaller, but this was actually longer than the Strats and stuff. So going down here, I'm going to go, since I'm already down at this spot, we'll go how he actually set this up. I'm going to go through the really cool part. So if you look at this, over here, so where the knobs are and all that, if you look, so he could do his tapping, coil switching, not coil switching, his pickup selecting and his volume was all designed like just so he can do a strum up and strum down, strum up. That's how he did this. And when I didn't notice that till I was like listening to a video on it, and I was like, I wouldn't have realized that unless someone did tell me, because that seems like a little like the Nintendo cheat code, that. And then when I figured that out, it made playing this guitar even easier. So I was, double tapping a lot easier. What else was really cool about this? The pickup configuration. Here's what's really crazy. The neck has a higher resistance than the bridge. So this is very loud, but it's not loud like you think, oh, here it goes, ear blasting. The articulation in it is still, the bridge, obviously, it's great because it's what it's modeled after. But I want it say it's based after a 59. I'm trying to think what other pickups he used for that, for some of his series, but I would probably say a 59 with if he boosted it. If that makes sense. Because this video isn't about trashing anything. It's just like, here's this guitar, what this has, because they're both actually in the same price point, whether it's quilted, flat, flat mat, or whatever. They're all the same price. It's just, which one would you prefer out of that? And this gives me more options, which I've noticed, because no matter what I do, there's still, the crazy thing is still equal to sound. That usually doesn't happen. Hey, no one wants to hear you. Cat, always talking. And I'm going to be actually replacing the block and the claw with brass, because I actually just did that earlier this week with my Jackson. Thing's loud. Woo! Does brass add brightness to you acoustically and through the amp? And I know Eddie was a strong believer in brass, and that's what got me into it. So, but I don't go and try to play Van Halen riffs on these either, because Eddie's big thing was, I don't want to hear Van Halen riffs on these. I want to hear other people's own stuff. So, moving on to that, another original thing I thought was really cool is because I like to play in the drop tunings and whatnot, because this is in, obviously, Van Halen, the Van Halen tuning, so E minor. You got the D tuner. That's included with the guitar, and all that does is drops you from E flat or E to D. So, and then you just twist it, and it goes. Twist it, and it goes back. And this guitar with the trem, speaking of that, it doesn't have recess back here. If you notice, it's not cut like a normal, like an Ibanez, a Jackson, or anything like that. So it's not really, you're not meant to, I'm sure you can't really hear that, but because Eddie didn't really pull back, he pulled down. But that's what gave you more. And that's probably one of the things I dig a lot, or if not the most, on this trem setup, because it's actually not a knockoff. It's an EVH Floyd Rose Special. And I looked at all, it was based off of Floyd Rose, obviously Special. And I think it was like the 1000. And being a trem lover, I like the fact that I actually have a guitar now that it limits me on, I can it helps me monitor my my trim. Is it my trim? I can't even think to this morning. I apologize. It helps me monitor my strength, tension. There we go. And then going forward, I've always been good at at being good with that. Not the best, but I've been good at kind of monitoring how much I do there. But it was always coming back here. I was not that great at. But having this right here, I feel better. I feel more comfortable with. The pickups are super crazy chunky. Like literally, that's where I've had my volume since I've been playing the guitar. Because if I max it out, it's way too like whoa. Even with the tone, I backed the tone up to I would say even 6. Or if you're looking at a clock, it would be what is it? It'd be 7 o'clock. If you're looking at a clock facing forward, I put the volume at about. I put that at about 9 o'clock. If you're looking at a clock, because if I do anything different, I mean, but even pulling it back, and with the 9 to 44 strings, and going through the Marshall head, 100-watt Marshall head, through the Line 6 preamp, through the 2 different cabinets, this thing produces more chunk than the 7 other guitars I have, more than the 8 string, the 7 string. I mean, this one guitar blows the other 7 guitars out of the water. And that's why I was like, I think I need to do a video because I'm looking at possibly trading up my guitar. I don't care if the rack's empty. I want something that's gonna sound good, you know. Like every guitar player, it doesn't matter. But moving on to the neck, I don't want to talk about how much I'm so in love with this because everyone who's a fan of whatever guitar player is, when they get a certain guitar that's like or is, you know, of that brand, you know, they're gonna tote it like so much. But anyway, I didn't realize it till I looked. They actually rolled the fretboard on both sides, and that's something Ed did. Trying to get the best footage of that. I apologize if it isn't. Let's see if I can get it over here. My cats have a tendency of getting a hold of my phone and licking the cameras sometimes, so I do apologize. Okay, there we go. See, the sides right here. Oh. So right up here, it looks kind of dented. That's actually rolled. And it actually makes it really comfortable when you're chording, not recording, but chording and tapping and whatnot. And it goes all the way down. So it's like you hardly have to press on it. So right off the bat, we've already moved up to the. Sorry, I was talking. We're already 23. I get really in depth with these videos, so I apologize if you're not into that. But I like videos that are in depth, so I try to do even more than other videos, just so I nail everything. But it does have, to finish up going on everything, to go over, we have a 1/4-inch maple top, or maple cap, if you will, on a 3/4-inch maple basswood body, EVH Wolfgang branded pickups. Side note, I may replace the bridge with the Eddie Van Halen custom, I think it's called, or just, you know, the Seymour Duncan, but I just like to leave everything original if possible. Meaning like pickups and stuff. I don't like to mess with that if it's a high-end guitar because you're screwing with it. Treble bleed setup installation on the volume knob. which that's why you can get the tone of that chunk and articulation and all that. And that with, I think it's KTS pots, or not KTS. It's really expensive pots. I know that. It's just the potentiometers that they're using alone are like $40 a piece, like between $30 and $40 a piece, and then they're using a really good treble bleed capacitor, and I think that alone is almost like $70 just in electronics alone. In that, it's worth it though when you hear it. I mean, this is a great, flawless instrument. And then you got a one piece maple. Is it quarter sawn on? It's not bird's eye. I think this might be bird's eye, or I think it's quarter sawn. They've made so many different versions of it, but it has the volute. 22 jumbo frets, and I love 22 frets. Out of all the 25 years I've been playing, I'm not much of 24 fret. I mean, it's okay if you're down tuning, but I don't. I've been going back to like my roots and stuff like that. Anyway, real quick. So there's the headstock, because I'm sure everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, I gotta really see that." So EVH Wolfgang Standard. You got like a bottle opener style headstock. Now, the thing about this is this color is very rare for a standard, because standards, usually it's the specials that have the solar burst. I mean, I've seen a couple ads with a solar burst where a couple grand, where like it was the same, it was like 1140, so 1140. The used, it went for like 5, 6 something, but that was back in 2017. What was it, 2017, 2018? I can't find anything on it nowadays, because no one wants to give these up. It's not like people are in a rush to give up their EVH guitars. But I mean, out of the two guitars, and it's Cosmo Black Chrome is what they call it, but I always remember seeing it on Ibanez being called Cosmo Black. But Black Chrome's cool. I dig it. They both have the truss rod adjustment wheel in the top of the neck, top of the neck, which is great. As a tech, not just as a guitar player, but as a luthier, I like having that there. It's awesome. I actually got, cause I got this in a trade. I didn't pay for it, so I was like, whew! I just saved my pocketbook a few $1,000s in total. I'm still paying off the Petrucci. I only have a couple months left on him, thank God. But when I look at the two, it's like hands down. Let me see. It's like hands down, the EVH slaughters it. That's my opinion. The EVH just hands down is a better looking guitar, better playing guitar, better sounding guitar. The neck is a round. What is that? Is that? It's hard to describe, because they have so many different shapes nowadays. They can't just keep one shape anymore. But it's I'm gonna say a C, a soft C. Yeah, I want to say that's a C. Okay. I was just checking something out up there. And the Petrucci is more flat, is where this is more round, is what I'm getting at. And this is more the EVH is a lot more comfortable for my hand. And it's a little bit smaller of a neck on the radius, and it has a compound radius fretboard that goes between 12 and 16. So you're feeling it, but you're not feeling it. So you're not getting, like, if you have horrendous carpal tunnel in your hands like I do, this makes more sense to an extent. And I mean, even though I completely decked this thing out, I still have nothing. The only thing I have to say about it is like the neck is what is that, asymmetrical, so it stays the same. And some people like that. The pickups are normal. Your normal style, fake. I'm gonna try to do the best I can to be a Tom Petrucci uh, pickup set. I will say this about it. It's cool that you can lock the whammy bar in with this, but it's kind of useless when you're playing and you're hitting. I'm always hitting this, and I've seen other people complain about it. The same thing. So it's like you got to change your playing to this. So this is you're always hitting the not truss. So you're always hitting the channel select. Jesus, I can't talk. You're always hitting the pickup selector, and if they should have actually moved these all this down one. That's what I'm trying to get at. So if you really want it to work for you, you actually gotta like take out the tone knob, put these two down, move these two down, and then put a plug in here. That's my recommendation. For me though, I'm not gonna take anything out of this. I already added the Petrucci style clip lock, so that does that. I'm gonna put this up for trade here shortly for another EVH or a Kerry King Marshall head, hopefully a 50 watt, just for a straight up trade, because I'll probably just do it for the EVH because I want another EVH, just because I want something that works for me and it's not going to fight me. And as much as I really do love this guitar, I think this would benefit someone else than me, because as much as this is I like, if not love playing this guitar, I there's a few things on it there's a few things on it I just can't stand. And I think that's probably why. It's because I'm a trim player. It's like it's wanting to be a trim. But that's okay. And I think I'd go for, I don't know. If you're in Arizona and if you're wanting a John Petrucci and you have an EVH guitar, EVH Wolfgang Standard, and they're in as great a condition as this, because this has no scratches or nothing on it, and so I still even have the plastic on it. So it's about a year old. To be honest, I can't even tell you what year it is, because they don't even their plates on the back make absolutely no sense. This is like some of the old 90s Jacksons and stuff. But this is also, EVH is made by Fender. So that's always made me feel better when it's made by Fender. And this is just, I mean, it still has the Ernie Ball behind it. Because I played an Ernie Ball. And this one feels pretty close to like one of the $1,500 one. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys, like, if I would give it, if you're gonna spend the $750 or whatever it is, because this was on sale last year. I got it was from $1,000 to, I think it was after tax to $750 and all that. I ended up getting this. They never mentioned this was the same. This was the same price. Same price. Never saw it. Or I would have not gotten this, and I would have gotten EVH. I am more of a fan of EVH. Always have been. In the 40 years I've been alive, and almost close to 26 years I've been playing guitar. Always been a fan, more of a fan of EVH than I have been of Petrucci. I like Petrucci's playing and all that. I'm just not a fan of like his solo albums and stuff. Like I like Dream Theater. I think Dream Theater's kick ass. I'm just not a solo. Uh, how would I phrase that? Because I know a lot of people really love Petrucci. I'm just not a devotee of his solo. I probably haven't even heard one of his really good records. I just heard a few of the songs, and I'm not even judging on that. It's just he does a lot of like what I do and all that. It's like I don't like to deal with singers, so I do the I'm just gonna do the instrumental stuff because I prefer instrumental. I think that's why I wish Eddie Van Halen would have done an instrumental record. I thought that would have been really cool if he would have done something like that. But I'm gonna definitely do a video on how to use the D-tuner here shortly. I ordered some, and it's gonna sound funny. I ordered some EVH strings because I wanted to kind of, keep it all somewhat authentic, and I'm gonna do a tone test on those. I did 9 to 40, 9 to 46, so at least I keep somewhat of that because these came strung 9 to 40. No, these are 10 to 46, so I got to do a little bit more adjusting when I get those there. But as you know, I figured it's a signature guitar, and I didn't think I'd ever get this. And how funny is it? I got it like the end of the year last year. I got it on the 31st or the 30th. So yeah, this thing's really killer, and I got the manual for it, like I said, and I want to play the special or at least own one of the specials. I'm going for the Tahiti Night next on this model of the Standard. Then I'm going for Absinthe. What is that? Absinthe Frost. What is the other one? Absinthe Frost. Then Transparent, Trans Green, and Army Drab Green. I love that. The other one is that Chlorine Burst and that smoky gray quilt top that they have. I always thought that was pretty cool. But the first two I'm going for is Tahiti Night and the quilt top. I already said the quilt, but no, it's either going to be the Tahiti Night I take or Absinthe Frost I go for. I'm really trying to stay with the quilt tops, but I get so with these because I'm used to getting, what is it? The not figure the veneer kind of stuff, like the really crappy wraps and all that. So I kind of like getting the quilt tops to kind of show off the prestige of it all. But it'd be cool to get one of the green ones just because that's my color. I like doing that. I know that's probably bothered a couple people. Like, what the hell is he doing? Yeah, I'm gonna get something kind of composed up today and like get a couple runs going, so I get some a little bit more written, so you can hear why I want a fleet of these. I want like up to between 5 and 10 of these bad boys and get them in like bulletproof cases. So that's the plan, Stan. I appreciate everyone who stopped by, gave us a try. I know probably more people wanted to hear about the EVH, but this has the basswood in it as well. I know a lot of people don't like basswood, but I hate to break it to you, basswood's really good. Mahogany's good because mahogany's in a lot of your good guitars. And some people are like, oh, I want feel. Then make the notes come out with feeling. Wood's not going to do that. All this. These are just tools to help you create it. You gotta create all the feeling and whatnot. But Alrighty, everyone. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, rest of your week, and I will see you here later when I do a video on the all the brass I put inside the Jackson, and I know there's another video I was going to do later this week, but you'll see it get done. Alright, everyone. Take care.